I'm not sure how far into it I'm going to get, because I don't know. We'll see. So let's talk gel plates. I've been wrestling with gel plates. This very first one was a Speedball 5x7 plate that if you ever look at a Speedball plate and decide you want to buy it, be aware that down here in tiny fine print it says do not use with acrylics. Now, I bought mine before I read that, and my thought, I'm not a fan of returning things because it means I have to go out in public and I generally don't want to. So my thought was, well, I'll put acrylics on it, and the worst that'll happen is it won't work. So I have done that, and they tell you, I think on the Gelli Arts store, to store them on plain white paper. So I've started storing it on plain white paper. This one actually needed a pull on the other side. So this is a cleaning it off pull after it's had some time to dry. So you can see that it does release pretty good. These are predominantly acrylic paints on here. Yeah. I don't think I put a pulp coat down when I did that. I mostly did it to protect the page. These blue bits were still damp to the touch, and I was hoping they would come off. But they didn't. So I've had this, don't use acrylics on it, 5x7 for since September at least. You can see that it's gotten really quite stained. It is no longer clear, and it stained right quick too. It was this color of yellow within the first 2 weeks of using it. I have conditioned this with baby oil. I haven't cleaned it lately. You can see that. This blue tint here on the background is from an acrylic paint. The creative markers cleaned off really nicely. So I may put down just a straight coat to try and clear it off. But I'm going to keep the plate. It's definitely useful in terms of brayering things. If you watch Carrie Griffith, he's very good at doing whatever he's doing on a plate here, but using this plate to do brayer work. And so this is the only size brayer I have. I will need to get a bigger brayer, but it works on the 5x7. You know, it does the thing that it's supposed to do. It'll brayer paint really nicely. So that's the first gel plate that I picked up. I know it says don't use with acrylic paint. I can't advise that you buy it because it says that, but also know that all of my gel prints have been done using this plate. It does work. There are a couple of things that it doesn't do or doesn't seem to do well. Image transfer, I've not gotten to work on this plate. It did stain. In fact, I can still see the stain where I used Posca paints on it. That's what these hexagons, I don't know if you can see them, but it's still stained from the Posca paint markers that I used on it. Anyway, I then went out and ordered a plate this size. You can clearly see made in China. And this is how it came. It was a tin box with a gel plate. And I have done exactly one pull off this plate. It's a lot thicker than the plate from Speedball. And the major problem I had with this was getting the paper to come off of it. It did not want to release. And to the extent that when let's see if I can recreate it even. It might let me recreate the problem. Get in there. No, it's not going to. That's okay. When I went to pull it up, you would pull the paper this way. And when you pulled the paper this way, you could see the plate still clinging to the paper. It took me an hour to get this print off this plate. I think what happened is it got too sticky in the warehouse. It's even sticking to the tin. Oh. I even tried working on the other side, I think. No, maybe not. Maybe I didn't do one on the other side. I often print on both sides of this plate. Yeah, I did, because there's purple right along here. So I am going to try to condition it and clean it and all of that. But when I put it away in this box, I was so angry at it. I'm like, no, no, you got to go. You got to leave my life. If conditioning it doesn't fix the too sticky problem, I will probably cut it down into smaller pieces and do another technique I've seen Carrie do, where he'll brayer a thin layer of paint and then take the gel plate and gently press it on a piece of paper. That might be a thing I do. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I'm so angry with this plate. I'm not now, but I was, because I really wanted it to work, and it really didn't. So anyway, it's in the stack of shame off to the side of my desk. But because that one went so horribly wrong, I did go out and spend money on a Gelli Arts gel printing plate, and it just arrived over the weekend. Now, I may not actually art on this today, because I haven't even opened it yet. So this is what it looks like when you buy a brand new gel plate from a reputable company like Gelli Arts. You can see that the plate itself is basically see-through. There's like next to no color change at all. Now my desk is a weird off-white color. But again, it's, you know, there's a little bit of color change, but really not a lot. So the plates are basically clear when you get them. And they do come with a thin sheet of, let's call it acetate, on the front and the back. That's a thing. My other plate came with those too. One thing I wanted to do, though, was look at easy to use, ready for printing. See more information on inside label. Remove clear film. They tell you right up front to remove the clear film. Apply plate to the gel printing plate. Roll paint in a thin layer with a brayer. Create designs. Lay paper onto the surface. Gently rub with your hands. Wait until you feel that the paper is dry. If it's cool to the touch, it's still wet. It doesn't say this on here. If it's cool to the touch, it's still wet. Once it's room temperature, then you can pull it. You can also do a quick pull before it saturates the paper and get a quick print that way. And that's just basic level, what do you do? They recommend acrylic paints are water soluble. Some rubber stampings and various dyes can stain the plate. Stains don't affect printing. I can attest to that. The stains from here, once the color stopped pulling, the staining did not pull up later, so that was nice. Clean acrylic paints with mild soap and water, hand sanitizer like Purell, or baby wipe products. And I do keep baby wipes in here. I also have baby oil. I didn't realize it said hand sanitizer. Don't have any of that in here. The baby wipe of choice that I've been using are the Huggies Simple Clean. They're fragrance-free, which is good for me. They're hypoallergenic, all that other stuff. Alcohol-free, paraben-free. These work pretty good. I've been using them on this plate for a long time. If you're going to condition with baby oil, try to make sure you get a baby oil that doesn't have any extra gunk in it. No parabens, phthalates, dyes. So I did manage to find a bottle of baby oil. I use that to condition a plate. I have not tried hand sanitizer. Clean oil paints by rubbing the surface with baby oil. I've never used oil paints on these. I don't own any oil paints. Wipe clean with a paper towel. Wash the plate with mild soap and water. So that's a thing you can do. They give a bunch of texture ideas. You can hand draw with soft tip tools like Q-tips, paintbrushes, cotton swabs, rubber tipped tools. Do not use pointed or sharp tools. Smart. It does say to store your plate, cover both sides of your plate with clean white paper and place in the clamshell packaging. So that is how I've been storing this one lately. I discovered that I apparently over baby oiled it because one of the pages came up saturated with baby oil after I stored it that way the first time. Will imprint any texture it's sitting upon. Yep. Don't use plastic wrap or waxed paper. That makes sense. Gel plate contains mineral oil. Don't leave it sitting on an absorbent surface like a wooden table. You're done. Place on a smooth, flat, non-porous surface like a Teflon sheet, a baking tray, or a piece of glass. So I'm going to have to get, and I knew this already, I'm going to have to find a piece of acrylic or something to put all my plates on. And keep away from flame and heat sources. Absolutely. So there you go. That's as simple as a gel plate gets. They give you everything you need to know inside it. You can literally just peel the clear piece off and go. I think I'm going to do that another day on camera, though. But I wanted you guys to know I do now have a real gel plate, and so my gel print problems should be minimized at this point. Not saying I'm not going to have problems, but it shouldn't be as frustrating as the one that's in timeout, or as the one that says don't use acrylic paints on this. You can absolutely use acrylic paints on it, but know that the plate that says don't use acrylics has limitations. There are certain things a good gel plate will do that the acrylic paint one either won't do and or I'm too dumb to figure out how to make it do it. But I think the answer is it simply won't, because it's the wrong formulation as far as I can tell. As far as anybody on the internet has been able to tell so far. Gold paint coming off of there. Yeah, and this one looks grungy because I use it all the time, and I need to do a pull to get the stuff off the other side. But that's not going to happen today either.